Hello students, today in English language we are going to have a look at a very interesting topic, and I am your teacher for today, Mrs. Achonwa Jude-Ann. Today we are going to look at one of the aspects of essay writing, one of the different types of essay writing. You have already learned narrative essay, we have learned our descriptive essay, our expository essay. Today we are going to look at argumentative essay. If every day of our lives we engage in arguments, there are certain things when you say it, nobody will argue. For instance, if I say, there is a pandemic ravaging the whole world today, I'm sure nobody will debate that. But if I say, all boys are handsome, I'm sure that so many of you will start debating. No, because that one is a matter of controversy. And so, an argumentative essay, otherwise called a debate, is a form of writing in which you attempt to persuade your reader or listener to agree to your point of view on a controversial subject matter. It means that any matter that calls for controversy is a debate, is an argumentative essay. And for argumentative essay, there are two sides every coin. Any issue that brings about argument everywhere, especially in your classes where you argue that Mr. So and so this thing is strict and others say no, the person is nice. That calls for argument. And so that is argumentative. Don't even think that it is something that is far-fetched from you. In every day we engage in arguments. Now for us to look at our argumentative essay, it is still one of the types of essay that we have been looking at. It has its features. And the first feature of argumentative essay is the content. Now in content, what are we looking at? For you to pick a topic and choose any particular side that you need to debate on, first of all, you have to look at the operative terms or the content word. Let us assume that we have a topic: boarding students perform better than day students in their academics. You don't have to be emotionally attached, probably because you are a day student and you find that, you feel that you don't want your counterparts to believe that they are more superior. No, you don't do that. What you should do is to look at any side that you know you can argue very well. The reader or the listener will not come back to find out whether you are a boarder or a day student. Now in content, you have to look at the points very well. Look at the one you know you can at least develop 3 good points. And of course, for you to start writing any essay, once the examiner says start, you don't start immediately. There are certain things you have to look at. First of all, you have to draw your outline. When we talk about outline, remember that if you want to build a house and you did not plan, you don't have any plan for that building, definitely you will find out that at the end of the day, you will get confused. And so, for you to draw your outline, you first of all think, which side of this argument am I going to choose? Am I going to propose, that is to support, or am I going to oppose, to say no, I don't subscribe to this? Without rendering credit to any aspect, you choose the one that you know you can develop at least 3 solid points. And then, first of all, before you start writing, you look at those your points one by one. You marshal out your point. For instance, if I want to talk about day students performing better than boarding students, I may be a day student, but I look at it that I may have more points if I choose boarding students. So the first thing I should do is to look at the points that I can use to support the boarding students. So I can first of all say that boarders have organized way of life. Yes, when I look at it, that yes, this is one of the points I will need to develop. And then I look at another point. I can say, I can also say that they enjoy balanced diet because everything there is being planned for them to really know what to eat at any particular time. And then I will also think of another point also. I will also think of another point. For instance, I can say, that the boarders have adequate reading time. And so when I have these points and so many others that I know I will now develop, then the next thing I will do is to look at the next feature of my argumentative essay, which is the organization. Now, how do I organize my essay? I will first of all look at the vocatives. I must start with the vocatives. And what do we mean by the vocatives? The vocative is written here, and we have it. Good day, Mr. Chairman. You have to pay particular attention to the keywords, which must start with a capital letter. The M of Mr. is capital letter. And you must always ensure that the M have sharp edges. Even if you write your M from the beginning to the end, and it does not have sharp edge, even if you have your M written like this, no matter how big it is, and it does not have a sharp edge here, it is still termed as a small letter M. Chairman, the C of chairman is written in capital letter. P of panel of judges is written in capital letter, and J is also written in capital letter. Of is just a preposition, so it is not regarded. The A of accurate timekeeper is also written in capital letter, just as the T. And this is co-debaters. And not, please ensure you do not write co-debaters. It is always co-debaters. Then, of course, you must use ladies and gentlemen to sum it up. Because these ladies and gentlemen covers any other person that is not embraced in this arrangement. Please ensure that you put all these ones in capital letter, because anyone you do not put in capital letter, it will always be ringed. And you know that each ring attracts minus half mark under mechanical accuracy. And I'm very sure you don't want to lose your precious mark there. After this, the next thing you will do is to now introduce yourself while taking a definite stand. It means that you will tell us who you are and tell us the topic before you, while telling us whether you are to propose or to propose. When you take any definite stand, you must make sure that you stick to that particular stand. You do not deviate. You don't start by saying, I am here to propose the notion that their students perform better in the academics than boarding students. And at the end, you'll be busy supporting the boarding students. In that case, you have countered what you are saying. But in other words, there are certain things you can do. You know that sometimes your opponent may have had a strong point to counter what you have in mind. So in that case, you may think of that point that your opponent can see. For instance, if you are supporting boarding students, your opponent may say that their students are always being controlled by their parents. You may think of that, and then you counter it. You can say, although my opponent may say that their students are always being monitored by their parents, But I can also tell you that boarding students also are being monitored very well by their matrons and patrons in the hostels. When you have listed this, when you list all this, you now put all your points, you start picking all your points, and each point will be in a particular paragraph. You ensure that every point you have picked, you develop it in a very good paragraph. And then you will use your linking words. You will use your linking words to make sure there is coherency in your essay. The linking words we are talking about here, something like also, in addition, furthermore. You just use them to make sure that your sentences, your paragraphs are linked together. The expression. Here you use simple sentences. You don't need to impress your reader or your listeners by using ambiguous sentences. No, you use simple sentences. And you can use informal languages. For instance, can't. I can't see the reason. I won't. Things like that. Then you can also use your rhetorical questions. You know rhetorical questions? Those questions that you ask without expecting any answer. For instance, you can see who does not believe that boarding students read very well in schools. This one, nobody is going to answer the question for you. It is called rhetorical question. And so, when you use your expressions, should always be simple, and always make sure that when you have finished writing your point, you still go back to retrace your points, to restate your points. You can go back and still mention the people you mentioned first. Mr. Chairman, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper. I can see with the smiles on your faces that I have been able to convince you that you mentioned the topic we are saying. Making sure that you still stick to your stand from the beginning, the end. Please, in your expression, always make sure you do not use abusive languages. You don't abuse your opponent and you don't insult them. You cannot say, my blind opponent cannot see the reason. No. Or, I wonder why my stupid opponent. No, you don't use abusive language. You are not there to fight. Rather, you are just there to argue your points. So make sure that at the end, after writing, make sure that at the end you say, all right, thank you, because you know that it is not easy for people to sit and listen to you. Okay, students, before this, please, this is your assignment for today. Write an essay of not less than 450 words for or against the motion. Male children are more beneficial to their parents than female children. Remember what we have said. Do not be unnecessarily influenced by your gender. Choose any one that you know you will give us at least 3 good points. Well-developed points. Alright, students. Before we go today, as usual, you remember the era we are in. Make sure you maintain social distance. Before you leave your house, always make sure you have your face, your nose mask. Always ensure you wash your hands with soap. Always ensure you wash your hands with soap under running water. And use your hand sanitizer. Do not hug, do not shake people. Always greet them from afar. Thank you for listening. See you in another episode.